Yay, it's flying time! 2 more flights today. Here we go on another adventure into the great unknown. Headed to Northern California. Heard about a week ago, big snowstorm came down and shut off one of the main freeways for a day or two, so hoping all is good. I haven't checked the weather. I can't control the weather, so we'll just see what happens and hopefully for the best. Alright. Just landed in Denver. It's a 29-minute walk to catch my next flight. I only had about an hour and 10-minute layover here, and so catching a flight from Denver to Eureka, and then from there I'll drive another, I think, 4 hours. I was kind of laughing when I was saying it was a 29-minute walk, so I had my watch going to see how far it actually is. Get some good exercise if it really is that far. Whenever there's escalators in the middle of the floor, I always like trying to outwalk them on a non-escalator carpet. It's kind of fun. I've always loved the Colorado flag ever since deployed Middle East, and we saw the National Guard Army show up to relieve us. So I'm still always see that patch with the good old Colorado flag on it, coming to relieve us and letting us go home. So whenever I do see the symbol, it always helps me feel some relief and some joy of the next step in life, especially when you're in a combat zone, deployed for 15 months from your family. So it's fun seeing some of the stuff here at the Denver airport. So still rolling. This is really cool. We're landing like we're landing on with the ocean on one side, shore on the other, going down right over. It's pretty cool. Never experienced this before. California always had the sun in it. It's beautiful out here. You can smell the ocean. It's just right over that hill. No, it's pretty cool coming in here and the ocean's on one side and land on the other, just following that coastline. So I don't know, when I saw that, something like excited jumped in my bones. So really thankful to be here. Excited to see what the next week goes like. Got another rental car. Surprise. Oh wow. Trees are already big here and I don't even think we're in the redwoods yet. I was talking to a new friend in line, the rental place that's from here, and just telling me I guess I have 2 huge mountains to go over, and since it's raining there may be snow at the top. There may be needs for snow chains. I guess there was like a 6-point or a 7-point earthquake in the area a few weeks back, and this is a big rainstorm coming through. He said those usually don't mix. Could be big mudslides, and then he also said, and keep your eye out for elk and Bigfoot. So I think he was joking just about Bigfoot. So sounds like quite the adventure I have for the next 4 hours trying to get to Eureka. I'm leaving Eureka and going to Eureka. And it's beautiful though. Can't believe the water and trees and just kind of fun smelling ocean in the air. So I'm trying to find a place called Walmart to grab another week's worth of food. It's great looking out front window, back window. Everywhere there's big, tall, green pine trees. Beautiful. I'm by myself on a lot of these journeys, but I like in my mind's eye pretending there's somebody that's watching these videos on the distant end whenever I get them edited and shipped out to social media or YouTube or wherever they end up. But if nobody's there, at least you're my imaginary friend that I like talking to, pretending you're with me on this journey. So maybe Bigfoot's up here, or there's been a landslide, or okay, just saw a sign that says active sinkhole. Another thing my friend at the rental car counter told me was big thing up here too is hydroplaning. Coming around a corner or something, and there's a big puddle of water that's on the road said those things will eat you up. Used a few other colorful words in there, but I'm trying to make a list of all the things I'm supposed to be watching out for, and it just keeps getting longer and longer. A guy was saying too at the rental counter that there was a typhoon warning, I think, so they had to head up to get up high in some cliffs or something. So all these foreign things that grown up in Idaho and Arizona now that I'm not totally know what to do with. And another thing that I was told to watch out for too is all the logging trucks. So they drive these roads all the time, and so they can drive them asleep. I guess they just go wild down the roads. I do remember logging trucks similar to that in Idaho. But he's like, I told him that, he's like, yeah, but they're hauling redwoods. So I think they're a little bit bigger. Anyway, definitely some adventure. I'm not getting groggy or anything with all these new warnings and hazards to be watching out for. And to add to it, there was no Walmart in Eureka, at least the phone pulled up. So found sounds like a little grocery store down the road, 20 miles. There's a bear in that tree. See it? Well, I made it to Eureka last night. I arrived about 7 p.m. It was really windy roads, and it was dark, and all I could see off one side was like a drop off to the Klamath River. At times I felt like it was close, other times I don't know if we were 5,000 feet in the air or what, but it was a little nerve-wracking, so I probably wasn't going real fast just with the weather and things, but made it in safely and felt nice to get a good night's sleep, and up and headed to Karuk right now to start getting set up to meet everybody in person and to start setting up for our senior, kind of our Spoil the Seniors, Spoil the Elders screening that starts, I think it's 11:30 or 12. So that's where we're at right now. I hope I can make that same drive coming up in the daytime when I leave out of here in a couple of days or so, and just to see it. I'm sure it's beautiful. I was driving the last night, and as it was getting dusk, I mean, there's trees everywhere and you're going fast, and well, it's not too fast. I was going, as I was saying, like 40, 45 at the most. But I just happened to look in a few trees along the road, and there was like a big clump, and I'm like, that looks like a bear. I'm like, it's not a bear. And I slow down. There's not really too many people on the highway. So I slow down and back up. And sure enough, it was a little bear up in a tree. I'm like, why is that bear up in a tree? That's kind of exciting. So I think we made it. I'm feeling actually quite excited. I've been working with trying to get here to Karuk for almost 15 years. And so to actually see here and see signs, you know, that say you're entering Karuk tribal lands and patrolled by the tribal police, and then to see some of the, you know, the signage on the vehicles and the building, it's kind of hitting me like, wow, this has been like a 15-year journey to finally to make it here with one of the films. I know the timing just was right and everything's worked out to bring it to this point today. So never give up, never be pushy, be patient, trust in Creator and your Heavenly Father, and just keep being consistent and trying to make good films and trying to get better. So I'm feeling really blessed right now, honestly, as I pack to go in and meet everybody. So I just wanted to share that yeah, I'm thankful in that persistence and steadiness, not pushy, not salesman-y, just that true desire, and you know, for good reasons to bring the film. And I hope there's lots of people that are inspired and feel blessed from watching Touch the Water today in the 2 screenings we have. Cool, we finally got everything set up. Destiny, who I'm working with, she was able to borrow the big blow-up screen and the projector from, I guess the reservation's spread out in a couple of different areas, like 75 miles or so apart. I think there's 2, or there's some other little checkerboard areas around, besides kind of the 2 main areas from my understanding. And so she was able to bring some of that stuff. I'm always a little bit concerned with trying to connect with what's available in the community and what I have, and so we try to do like calls and talk with the IT people or whatever before. And so then to get here and stuff set up, and then we figured out how to, I'm going off my laptop to get all that played together, and they had a speaker that's working, it's Bluetooth, so everything is coming together really well.
Greetings, Naomi. How's my favorite chariot driver today?
Good.
We just watched a good film that he had made, and I think it's very good because it brings awareness to all of us, to our younger ones that don't realize what our older ones go through, what people go through when they're single. Just everyday life, things like that, things that are harder, but things they want to do. Just because we get old, we don't quit loving, we don't quit caring, we don't quit enjoying, and we need that even more. And so it makes us aware to help each other each day, to call each other, to see how each other are feeling, and it shows us this is what we are gonna be too eventually. So we want to help our elders and help our loved ones in any way we possibly can, and try to be that understanding, have empathy and mercy, and have the feelings that we should have all the time. So this movie just really brought it out a lot, and I hope a lot of other people get to see it. We thank you very much, and we hope we get to do it again.
Story of how my family and I got into the movies, and my brothers actually started, was in the 50s, and our nice Cody was good friends with my father, and we used to dance at the Boys and Girls Clubs and Girl Scouts. He needed some native extras, and that's how we started. And then we were one of the first few Native American children that actually played Native American parts. My brother started out as the Tim McCoy show in the 50s, and he was a little Sitting Bull in the Tim McCoy show. My other brother had the TV series Brave Eagle with Keith Larson, and that was a Disney program. And then when I was 6 months old, I got President's Lady with Charleston Heston and Susan Hayward. And then again, I worked with him in the Ten Commandments. I was 3 years old when I was working in the Ten Commandments. And you remember a few things in your past. And I asked my brother about this. I go, I can remember going to the studio, being picked up in a big car. And he goes, yeah, the Cadillac, they'd come pick you up. And I go, and I remember falling, sliding, they were sliding because Charleston Heston had to come and run and pick me up, and he was supposed to put me up on a camel. It was right before the Red Sea opens up. Well, it was indoors, it was on a set, and the floors were kind of like a plastic floor. They had sand on them, and he kept sliding with his sandals. And I can actually remember that, them catching me and him falling. The scene is, you see me standing there and everybody's running to the Red Sea and I'm all by myself. You can see the people running around me. And then the next scene, he comes and he picks me up and he puts me on the camel. The original one, if you watch it in the movies, you'll see him pick up my doll and hand it to me. And on the TV ones, when usually around Easter it plays, they've cut that part out, but you still see me for a split set, for the few seconds, and then up on the camel. Okay, when I was older, I did a lot of other TV shows at Paramount Studios, and my cousin used to work at the Brown Derby right down the street from Paramount Studios. Well, Chuck, as she called him, always went in there for lunch. Everybody would go in there. And I happened to be in there one time with my cousin having lunch, and I was also on a set on One-Eyed Jack with Marlon Brando at the time. And she said, I'm gonna play a joke on him. And I go, what's that? And he goes, I'm gonna tell him his daughter's here. And so he comes in and you know, he doesn't have a daughter, or he didn't have a daughter at the time. And so she tells him that, and he looks around, he's looking, and then she waves to me to come over, and I stood there, and he thought about it, and he goes, are you the baby girl that I held? And he actually remembered who I was. And then he didn't remember me as the Ten Commandments until after I told him, and then he remembered falling all the time. I worked with Clint Eastwood when he was Rowdy on Rawhide a lot. I worked with Michael and Sarah on Broken Arrow. I was a regular as Tina. I was his niece on that. Let me see. I worked with John Wayne in How the West Was Won and Donovan's Reef. I've worked with Marlon Brando, and I have a story with him that was cool. That I was sitting next to him on one of the tall chairs, and they were brushing my hair out, and he was tilting back and forth on the back of his chair, and my brother got a picture of this, and he goes, my hair's down to my knees at the time, and they were brushing my hair out, and they were explaining a scene that I was supposed to be crying when he was being whipped in this particular scene, and he goes, I fall for girls with long hair. And just at that time, his chair fell over. My brother got a picture of that. Jane Seymour is a really down-to-earth, wonderful person. We were permanent part-time on Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman from the pilot, and she treated us really well. One, she didn't realize all natives didn't wear the same type of clothing. Like, they had like a cattle call when they first was asking for extras, and then of course I wore just my belt and my moccasins because I represented Hopi instead of not Karuk with just our shells. And then a lot of girls were in buckskin and others were in cloth. And so when we were picked and they said that they were Cheyenne and they had, of course, one dialect, and she didn't realize that the women had a dialect and the men had a dialect. She talked to the elders on the set, and she actually went and she got somebody to come out, elders from the tribe, to speak and teach the language to them for certain scenes, so it was spoken properly and the dress was properly, and then we got to do our own hair, and we did our own makeup and our choker, the men's chokers, we did all that, and as a thank you, because they won the People's Choice Award, and they thanked us by naming all our names off and not doing a speech for what we did to help them win the award.
Well, finally found a Walmart a day later, so I run in to grab a few snacks for a few days. Hey, so I'm staying in my hotel room, getting ready to go party from 8 to midnight with the youth with the TANF program to show Touch the Water and talk some filmmaking with them. This afternoon around 2 o'clock, we finished screening the film with the elders. Elders had a nice lunch that I got to share with. It was good, and had a great discussion, talking about the movie and some reactions to it and things. So that went well. And then I had about a 4-hour break. Came back to hotel, grabbed a little nap, and then did some work, trying to find some help, bringing on hopefully a couple of people to help me next year, part-timers that hopefully will turn into full-time positions. So just going through people that have applied with that, and have a new book I'm reading called Alone in a Room. It's a new screenwriting book I just heard about. I opened up the publication page, and it was made in 2004. But already I'm liking some of that. I find myself, when I'm starting to get ready to get back into writing the next script, I start pulling out some of my old books, screenwriting books, and in this case, a new screenwriting book to start prepping, kind of start getting back into that writer's mindset, how Hollywood does it, how other screenwriters that make a living at it do it, and just starts to kind of get back into the rhythm of writing. Normally I'll write for a couple of hours a day. But yeah, looking forward to going hanging out with the youth, and we'll see how that goes. I'm already could eat dinner and go to bed, so we don't stay up late partying too much at all anymore. But this will be fun. So I am excited just to see how it turns out and meet some youth here in Karuk. Well, it's about 11:45 p.m. Just finished the teen party with the TANF program. We played. They had tacos. They brought in some Mexican food from a local restaurant, tacos, and it was really good. And then played basketball for a little bit, and then started the movie, and then played some more basketball afterwards. There was probably about 12 or so youth there from the ages 12 to like 17. So it was good. First time we found like a late night with the teens with Touch the Water movie. So enjoyed it, ready to go to bed now, and then wrap this event up. Also, I was invited to go to one of the youth in the community is in a school play, so I was invited to go to that tomorrow night. He's plays I think an old grandfather in Little Women play that the high school is doing, so excited to go in and participate in a community activity. I guess it's at the Eureka or the Wairika High School, and go to that, and then I'll head out.
It'll be too tempting, and she'll have to come inside, so we'll have to be content with letters.
Letters!
Well, I'm leaving Wairika this morning, headed to next screening. Just had a chance to go to church with the warden, Wairika, and I walked in and it felt cold to me, but since I'm an outsider visitor coming through, I just figured, oh, this must be how warm this chapel usually is. So I'm just from Arizona, that's different. And then when the guy started talking, and I guess the heater wasn't working, and so church was only an hour just with the sacrament meeting. They didn't have Sunday school after that because everybody was freezing. So before I heard that, I even blew in there to see if I could see my breath. It was so cold. So, and after he said that, I was kind of laughing, like, oh, that happens every once in a blue moon in Arizona, but it's for the opposite reason, because the AC doesn't work and it's 120 inside. So always feels good to go to church. But yeah, wrapping up this leg, heading out of Wairika, and hopefully we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for following the journey.